Reuters reporter and co-author of the report. Ned Parker is in our Washington bureau. So, Ned, you report that 6 of the reported 18 phone calls were between Michael Flynn and Sergei Kislyak. Do we know what they discussed during those calls?
Right. He was involved with at least one of the calls with the ambassador. What they talked about, as well as in the other 17 contacts with Kislyak and other Russian individuals, officials, and people with links to the Kremlin, was how to improve the U.S.-Russian economic relationship, which had been strained by Russia's annexation of the Crimea in 2014. They also discussed how best to cooperate in fighting terrorism in Syria with regarding the Islamic State. And finally, these talks, not just with Flynn and others, a theme was this idea of countering China's influence on the world stage.
You say these communications all took place between April and November of 2016. Explain the significance of the timing, Ned.
Right. They happened before the election, and why that's significant is that during a campaign, according to our interviews with different veterans of presidential campaigns, Republicans as well as Democrats, while there will be, let's say at a convention, a ceremonial meeting or attendance by an ambassador or a trip overseas where there's legwork put into arranging the candidate's visit and the official meetings, these kind of this high volume of consultations about policy at a time when the candidate is trying to get elected is not normal. There's nothing wrong about it, but it is not customary.
So you just answered my question. It is fairly common then for a campaign team to have contact with a foreign official in the middle of a campaign?
Well, no, not at this volume. We were speaking with one Democratic consultant on campaigns, and he said, for instance, Ambassador Kislyak's attendance at events by the Republican convention in July of last year was not unusual. That's fairly standard. Or let's say when Obama was former President Obama was a candidate in 2008, he went to Berlin. There's legwork that goes into those trips, but conversations about policy and making policy at the number of 18, and our understanding is that this very well could be just the tip of the iceberg in terms of contacts before the election. That is unusual because the candidates are focusing on getting elected inside the United States, not creating foreign policy for after they're elected, which is their hope.
Well, the Trump campaign initially denied any contact with Russian officials during the campaign. They've since confirmed 4 meetings between Russian officials and Trump advisors. How do you think this disclosure could perhaps affect how the White House shares information about communications with Russia going forward?
Well, what's interesting about all of this is that there really is nothing wrong or illegal about the contacts. It's this matter of, why did they not disclose them before? Why did they say at first in January there were no contacts, and then in the following month, acknowledge 4 contacts before the election with Russian officials? So if there is nothing wrong about discussing issues of improving the relationship between Russia and the United States, so why didn't they come clean before? And maybe there's a lesson for that in the future.
All right. Ned Parker in Washington. Ned, thank you.
Thank you.